just got here at the Lucerne, and there's lots of media and people. We're going to Gracie Mansion, and it's against displacing the homeless and just pushing them around without warning. And there's a family shelter that is supposed to get emptied, and the Lucerne residents are supposed to go in there, which makes no sense.
They closed that one out, and now we're in the Harmonia. The people that were residing with us were shuffled around to different shelters. We didn't know where we were going into that day. Now we're finding out that the same shelters we went into, they're closing down at least 4 or 5 that I know of, as well as others. I've been helping them out with a van, basically moving their stuff to storages because they treat us like garbage. We're only allowed 2 bags per person. If we come with more than 2 bags, they tell us we have to throw it away.
Make America Care Again is one of the big things that we thought. And thinking of, like, when you say Make America Great Again, we're like, when was America great? And now I wrote Make America Care Again, and I start to wonder, when did America care? And what was the thing about America being, like the used car salesman of the world, who will say things that sound good, but it's not true. Like, we don't see color, we're not racist. But when you don't see color, you actually are racist, because I'm a black man, and seeing color and respecting color and accepting color are important. And that's how you fight racism.
Thank you so much.
I don't have a problem with the Lucerne. The problem is that the city spends millions of dollars to house them in the Lucerne.
Actually, the city is only paying 25%.
They get nothing for it.
FEMA is paying 75%.
Okay, so there's another rocket sign.
That's actually true. They don't want the truth. They don't want the facts.
All our money.
They don't want the
It
facts.
doesn't matter what part
He
the
doesn't
money
like
comes
facts.
from. It doesn't matter what part the money comes from. Whether it's the federal money or the state money, it's still all our money. Use it wisely.
Everything you do is based on tax money. Everything you do is based on
And
tax
now we
money.
take care of the politicians now. The ones
What
we have
tax
now,
incentives
we
did you
vote
get for
them
your
out.
property?
I started out in 80. I was in Brooklyn. Yeah.
To raise awareness for the ineptitude of policy failures that are actually creating the situation that we have here in New York, and how we want to stand in support of those that are being displaced right now from the Upper West Side, and those that are in the Harmonia shelter as well. We have a notice of transfer that we are going to be delivering to Mayor de Blasio. If you do not know what a notice of transfer is, it is a document that shelter staff workers provide to you, provide to the residents of the shelter when they're being moved. It could happen in the middle of the night. It could happen when you walk in. It could happen while you're coming in. You find out that you are being moved. When you actually reside in shelter, the shelter that you are at, that program is in charge of actually housing you. So imagine coming back to your shelter, coming home for that moment, and then you are actually being told that you cannot actually stay there. You're actually being moved. Do you know where you're going to go? You do not know that. You do not know.
After seeing some of the people that were being displaced from the other shelters, I realized that this is a thing that would devastate so many people.
That's right.
And I really had no choice. I said, I gotta say something. I gotta put myself out there. And so I wrote something. I'm gonna read it to you, and I just want everyone to listen clearly. Trauma on top of trauma. Today we stand near Gracie Mansion, the home of New York City's mayor. While normally I put my words in writing, I've chosen to join those who have come to protest against the decision made by the mayor to displace thousands of people, including families, people with disabilities, women, children, men, people suffering from substance use disorder, and others with mental health issues. In the mayor's virtual address to the city, he stated that I went and saw for myself on the Upper West Side last week, and what I saw was not acceptable and had to be addressed. My first thought, and I'm going to be honest, was, well, damn. Has the mayor visited 125th Street and Lexington Avenue? Has he stepped foot in any of the congregate shelters that his administration gives so much money to?
No.
What does he think of those conditions?
He doesn't know.
Then my anxiety kicked in. I felt traumatized at being dehumanized, moved around like pawns on a chessboard. It disturbed me that this mayor seemed to reflect the sentiments of those who have espoused racist, hateful, and unwarranted views about a vulnerable and voiceless population. A population that was easy prey for the media's exploitation and dehumanization. Now let's be fair. The city made a huge mistake trying to drop us into a community without notifying the community in advance and securing their cooperation and support. This action led to those of us who are vulnerable and voiceless to be the subject of some of the vilest accusations ever attributed to the homeless population of New York City. When the news broke that we would be moved, I walked the halls of the Lucerne and into the neighborhood and saw some of the strongest individuals I've come to know showing fear, confusion, and disorientation. The trauma could be seen on their faces. Some of them spoke of being triggered to relapse after months of sobriety. Some were experiencing emotional trauma, and others wanted to immediately use their substance of choice. Even I, the homeless hero, had to send an SOS out to the director of Project Renewal's Recovery Center, Carly, who's here with us today, to indicate that I was in crisis. The words of the mayor brought back thoughts of traumatic experiences from my past, having been a victim of this city's inability to do right by me as a young child growing up in the foster care system. I spoke to other residents who felt similar, and we all agreed that this was like trauma on top of trauma.
What do we want? Housing justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Housing justice! When do we want it? Now! If we can't get it, shut it down! If we can't get it, shut it down! If we can't get it, shut it down!
Each resident's place that we've been placed to, they basically tell us we're only allowed 2 bags. If we bring in more than 2 bags, our property is basically tossed to the street. They don't really care about
I'm from BCID, and I am here today as a person with a disability that knows the struggles of finding affordable and accessible housing. Our displaced neighbors also have this problem. In New York City, it is next to impossible to find an apartment that can suit our physical and financial needs. Any new housing development in New York City is mandated only to have 5% of their units for people with mobility needs and 2% for visual needs.
That is not right.
Not at all.
No.
My mother is a physically disabled woman as well, and she has lived in the same apartment for 40 years. She's never had the luxury of moving because of the limitations. Waiting lists can be years long, and essentially we are waiting for somebody to die or move out before we can have the opportunity to have a home. What Mayor de Blasio is doing here is outrageous and wrong. Why are people being displaced from the 31st Street shelter, which is specifically designed for people with disabilities, and equipped with trained staff to help with these needs, being forced to move out?
It's not too late to reverse your decision.
Go back to 2013 and vote. I would name the homeless hero the mayor of New York City. He showed more thoughtful planning in his speech
than we've seen from this mayor. And that is sad.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you why that's sad. When Mayor de Blasio ran, he ran on progressive values.
That's right.
He ran on the idea that there are two New Yorks, one for the rich, one for the poor, one for the blacks, one for the whites, and he was going to be the bridge to bring us all together.
Where's that?
And here we stand today. I would have thought Donald Trump was the mayor from what I'm seeing. And again, I'm not, I'm almost torn because I hate criticizing my fellow Democrats who I believe de Blasio ultimately has a good heart. But the execution is criminal.
I'm kidding. We have a great group of elected officials, people who don't represent these areas that came out to support us because they know that this is not a fight just about one shelter. This is a fight for the heart of our city and how we treat our fellow New Yorkers.
And right now we have the lowest census we've ever seen since I've been an elected official at 55,000. But that's not because we're doing anything right. It's because there's an eviction moratorium. And with 1 in 5 New Yorkers without a job right now, and without any federal bailout coming anytime soon, we are all on the precipice of joining our brothers and sisters at the Lucerne and the Harmonia.
I've been here the entire time, and all I've been hearing is nothing but division, and it makes me sick. This is almost like 1995, East Coast versus West Coast. I don't give a damn about where you come from, and I don't give a damn about what you represent or where you represent. If I bleed right now, I don't care what, it's going to be the same color as all of you. Yes. What we need is leadership. Yes. You guys are out here asking for de Blasio to do crap. Just like some people are out here asking for Trump to do something. I'm done asking. Get out of office.
Yes. What's your name?
Well, my name is Jerry Lugo, and today's event, I feel actually I participated in an event because I'm also living in the Lucerne Hotel, and I was touched by all the people that I didn't even really know and that came to support us, and I actually felt so touched by it, and let's see what happens then, and I'm hoping for the best now. Thank you very much.
My name is Larry Thomas.
Okay, very nice to meet you. So how do you feel about the event today?
It was very uplifting, but it goes back to saying, like I heard the speaker say earlier, it's not about what you say, it's what you do. So a lot of people spoke about a lot of things today. Let's see the actions that come behind it.
Thank you so much.
All right, the homeless hero. You gave a great speech today. So in conclusion, how do you feel about the event today?
Well, I think it was great. You had a diverse amount of people, a lot of people, but a diverse group of people. And a lot of people spoke a lot of great things. So, like our brother Larry said, at the end of the day, we want positive action. We want things to be done that's going to affect us in a positive way. And that's all broad. That's not just in our particular situation. But there are a lot of people that are going through different types of traumatic experiences, especially during this pandemic, that's dealing with homelessness and other issues. And, we just want the city to be proactive in its response instead of reactive. So, let's just keep that fight going so that positive change can happen for all of us.
Well, thank you so much.